So funny story, guys, like I was actually supposed to be on this album, but see there's this little thing like Statik Selektah doesn't really know who the fuck I am. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad of Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews. Hip Hop Data, we talking music again today, and we got another album review, and we're gonna talk about the new album from East Coast beatmaker producer Statik Selektah, entitled What Goes Around. Now, for those who aren't familiar with who Statik Selektah is, like I said, he's the East Coast producer. He's known from the very underground up to the major leagues. He's kind of like the producer that knows everybody. And this is his latest offering. He's already put out quite a few albums in the past, but this is his latest one off his Show Off Records in conjunction with Duck Down Music, which is, you know, one of the legendary hip-hop labels out of New York. So let's talk a little bit about the album. Now, there's an interesting backstory to this album that Statik Selektah told a lot of press and everything like that. Apparently, the influence came from Kanye West. Now, here's the story. Apparently, him, Kanye West, and Nas were in a studio session together, and Nas and Statik Selektah had a record together that Nas wanted to play for Kanye. So I think Nas left the room, and it was just Selektah and Kanye in the room, and he plays the beat for him. And I think 20 seconds in, Kanye shuts it off and says, "Hey, it's cool, but jazz is dead." Now, apparently, that sparked something in, you know, Statik Selektah's head to be like, okay, you think jazz is dead? I'm gonna make a whole entire album of jazz hip hop to show you it ain't dead, and I'm gonna do it right. And that's how we have this album, What Goes Around, because the whole thing is jazz inspired. Every beat on here has some element of jazz music, and Statik Selektah does it so well here. Each beat has this real laid back, calm, cool, airy, just mellow, jazzy vibe, but then it also has this energy to it that just gets you, it just takes you back to that 90s era of hip hop. It's sort of like that Tribe Called Quest, you know, feel, and it's just a dope album of just great instrumentals. It's 20 tracks on this album. This is a long ass, thick ass, hefty ass album. And on top of that, he's got literally every rapper on here. He's got a ton of rappers on here. He got everybody in his goddamn phone contact list on this damn album. Like, literally, it's got to be at least 30 or 40 different MCs on here easily. And it ranges from people from the super underground to the John Connors and the Logics to the higher ups like Snoop Dogg and Bun B, and even the legends like Kweli and Pasta Newsome Day. Also, he kind of just went to every realm of hip hop and threw them all on this album like it was a big stew and mixed it up. And the thing about that is it works, but then sometimes it gets a little, I would say, what's the word? Overwhelming and exhausting listening to constant bars over and over again from all these different MCs, because when you hear a song and then it doubles back with another song, and it's just constant rapping and rapping and rapping with no pauses or no downtime to really chill out from, you know, the previous songs or the previous set of songs, you start to get zoned out if you aren't focused or if you're not up to really sitting and listening, and you may have to go back and replay it a few times. Not saying that that's a bad thing to have a lot of different MCs in back to back, but what I would have liked on this album is a little bit of space. Shave the 20 tracks down, shave it down to about 15, put in some instrumental breaks in between or something, or to showcase, you know, Statik Selektah's skills, and also as a DJ, because I think he's a DJ too. You could have did some DJ cuts and everything like that and just broke it up a little bit so we can get a little breathing room from all this bar fest that he's giving us with all these MCs. But that's a small problem, like the whole overly done, you know, features or the no cohesion, because there's really no cohesion. It sounds like a huge mixtape album, really. You know, it's just a whole bunch of Statik Selektah beats, good ones, and a whole bunch of MCs, good ones, put together, and he picked the best songs and the best artists and just put it on an album and made a really solid, decent album. It just didn't seem like it was sort of a theme to it or anything. It just seemed like, hey, I know all these great dope MCs. I got all these great beats. Let's put them on here and let's make some real hip hop. And that's what he did. And I commend him for that. So there's really nothing at all that I can say about this album in detail, because it's pretty much just a real basic plan. Dope beats, all jazz inspired, a whole bunch of MCs, and they're all just spitting their best bars. There's no real concept tracks. There's no real, you know, tracks that kind of go left from, you know, the standard formula and format of this album. It really sticks to the same. Now, some people do tell little stories in their songs and, you know, have little, you know, moments where they kind of open up into their own personal selves, but it's not really much of like a stray away from the concept of the whole album. So it all kind of ties and it fits together, which is fine. That's what makes it an enjoyable listen. I just said, like I said before, it just gets sort of tiring if you're not prepared to hear an hour worth of, you know, 40 different MCs rhyming over all jazz inspired beats with a minimal amount of break, and you're not, you know, really prepared to listen to that. Then you may sort of zone out. But if you are into this type of music, this underground, this 90s sound, you're going to love every minute of this album, and it's dope. It is dope. Now, I'm going to give you some of my standout tracks. Strangely enough, like I said, there's 20 songs on this album, and half of them are my standout tracks. So half the album I really thought was great, and then the other half I thought was just subpar to okay. It gets by. But these are the tracks here that I believe that really made this album shine the most. Carry On with Joey Badass and Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs murked his verse. I'm sorry, he killed that one. The Thrill Is Gone. This is one of my favorite tracks off the album. It's got Talib Kweli and Styles P. They've always, when they get together and do tracks together, it always comes out dope. And this is another one for the catalog because it's one of my favorites on here. Just the beat is dope and what they're saying, it's just, I love it. It's one of my top 3 on the whole project. The Imperial. All I gotta say, Black Thought. That's all I'm gonna say. Black fucking Thought. That's it. Next track, Back For You. That's the Dilated Pupils track. I think it's because I'm just recently coming off of the new Dilated Pupils album too. You guys remember that review. And I think they're just capitalizing off of that momentum and they just brought a great track. So I just think, you know, I was just into that Dilated vibe and I liked it and it stuck out to me because they dropped the dope album and they're carrying over into somebody else's album. So that's hey, keep it up, Dilated. You know, I'm listening. Next track for that is Alarm Clock. Now, this track, when I first heard it, I really wasn't too into, but then as I sat and listened to it more and more, I really, really liked it. I like Absol's verse on here, and I like Logic's verse on here. John Connor's verse was cool, but I thought knowing John Connor and what he can do, he could have came stronger. I think he came in third in this song. But I give it an even toss-up between Soul and Logic because they both dropped some crazy verses. I also really like the song Long Time. That's an Action Bronson solo song. And this is where I thought Action Bronson really shined out. The track that he had, I think he was on the Imperial track too with Black Thought and who else? I forget who else was on that song. I'm sorry, it's too many rappers. I tell you, it's a lot of damn rappers. But this song where he's solo, it sticks out more. It shows more Bronson's personality, and you know, it's just one of them tracks that I went back to a few times because I just like the whole vibe of it. So definitely want to check out. Down Like This. Crooked Eye. I don't know what it is about Crooked Eye, but he is just killing everything he gets on. Like literally, he destroyed. And Pharoah Monch was on this song as well. And I'm always forgetting another rapper. I'm sorry. You just look at the track list. I'll probably put it up. But look, Crooked Eye was the one that just came out and he just decimated this record. And he closed it out. And I'm glad he closed it out because if he would have went first or second, it would have been no point listening to the rest of the song. I'm just saying. Crooked Eye, keep it up, man, for real. Slum Villain. Now, this is the Joey Badass solo track. And like I said, same thing with Action Bronson. I think Joey Badass actually stood out more on his solo effort than the song that he did with Gibbs in the beginning of the album, which was Carry On, because I think Freddie Gibbs' verse just not saying Joey's verse was bad, but Freddie Gibbs' verse, just the way he delivered it and the subject matter, it just went over. It just was better to me, and I liked it better. So Joey came back and recouped with that solo track, and I liked it, definitely. Rise Above. Everybody on this track killed it. I love the vibe, and the thing about this track is it's not really a track with like really known rappers. I think it's a couple guys who are really, you know, they're just up and coming, but they really, actually no. Astro, the guy who used to be on that one show, that talent show, X Factor, yeah, the astronomical, whatever. But he's on there, and then there's another guy on there, and they actually did their thing. I was actually impressed with that track, so that one. And then, of course, the closing track, God Knows, it's got Pasta News, Bun B, and then some other guy, I think he's a singer, I can't remember his name, But they closed it out, and it closed out real strong. Now the crazy thing about this, After God Knows, it's not even put on the damn track list. There's a Kool Keith song at the end of that. It's a Kool Keith. He just comes out of nowhere and does a whole 3-minute song on the end of God Knows. Then there's no credit. You wouldn't even know unless you got the album, which I think is real cool that they actually was able to sneak Kool Keith on the album. I think it was a good way to end it. And honestly, I have nothing really bad to say about this album other than the lack of cohesion and then the overwhelming amount of MCs and the time frame. I would like to see more, you know, of it being broken up and probably shave off a couple, probably 5 tracks. And then you would have had a perfect album, but this is a damn good album. And those little minor things are not enough to really steer me away from listening to it over and over again. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that you should go cop this album. All I'm saying is that if you like 90s era style jazz and battaz hip hop with a whole bunch of dope MCs spitting bars after bars after bars, then this may be up your alley. What goes around may just come around to your eardrum. You may like it. That's all I'm saying. Great album. Good job, Mr. Statik Selektah. You did your thing on this one. You proved Kanye wrong. Jazz is not dead. It's in this hip-hop masterpiece you got right here. And besides those little bitty things, you did a great job. And those little bitty things is not going to stop me from saying that this album is Granddad approved. Definitely go check it out. Go cop it. And you know what, Statik Selektah, next album? You know, there's this guy called Granddad Woolly. He's pretty good. You might wanna get him on a song. I'm just saying, like, it might help. You know what? Just if you want to, you know where to find me. You probably don't, because you have no fucking idea who I am. But I'm digressing. Statik Selektah, good job. Check out the album. Go cop it. Find it anywhere you can. Get it. Bump it around. Play it around the house. Play it everywhere. Alright? Flip it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the new Statik Selektah album, if you think it's dope and if it's whack. And also give me a thumbs up if you like the video in general. Oh, check out my last video. Last week's Woolly reviews. Right here on the side. Go ahead and show that some love. And also one of my music videos. You can do that too. Actually, if you look at the music video, make sure you try to share it with Statik Selektah. Tell him how great it is. Maybe he'll get me on the next album. That should be both of our common goals. I'm just saying. Also, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud. Add me on all of that shit. I always drop videos every Tuesday and Friday. New video coming on Friday. It's going to be about the Walking Dead game. The end of the 2nd season. It's going to be a great review. I've been looking forward to doing this one, so we're going to have fun with this. And as always, make sure you just subscribe to the channel like I said before. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I'm going to keep doing these videos, and I hope you guys keep enjoying them. So until next time I take my leave, Granddad, Statik Selektah, what goes around, I'm out of here.